Hey there, welcome. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Jenna. If this is not your first time here, welcome back. So today I am going to be playing with the Old Soul by Glaminatrix Cosmetics. Now, I must admit, this is a refilm because I had originally filmed like a first impressions type of video of this when it initially launched, and then just didn't do anything with the raw footage. And then when I looked at the raw footage to edit and upload it, I was like, a lot of this information is kind of redundant at this point because this is a limited edition palette. It's no longer available on the Glaminatrix website, but I did check and you can still get it from Monolith. There are probably other stockists that you can get it from as well, but that's the only one that I checked. So if you're outside of Australia, just check whatever stockist of Glaminatrix you have, and you may still be able to get the palette. Anyway, what we're going to do today is I am going to do a couple of different looks with it. I will go through the collection a little bit as well and show you the other bits and pieces that came with it. I do want to go through all of that, but I'll just show you the inside of the palette first. That is what it looks like. It is no longer pristine and beautiful. It is a well-loved palette. I basically used this exclusively for, I want to say at least 2 or 3 weeks. It was probably over a month, to be honest, because I really have been enjoying it. Now, what comes with the collection is a couple of other tidbits. Obviously, it comes in a outer packaging, which just looks basically the same as what the palette does. And then it also comes with a little card like this. I keep all of these cards. I think I've got 3 from Glaminatrix. This card will tell us what the archetype collection is, and specifically the Old Soul palette. So I will read this. It says, the archetype collection is a study of self through enduring human identities. Each palette in this collection represents a distinct archetype, not a trend or a mood, but a part of who we are. Some archetypes are worn openly, others are revealed over time. Every palette includes a collectible metal coin uniquely designed to represent its archetype. Each coin is a part of a 12-piece series and is intended to be kept and collected. The coins are permanent markers of the collection. When all 12 are gathered, the study is complete. It is not a seasonal release, it is an evolving archetype. And then what this says about the Old Soul is, the Old Soul, for the ones who feel deeply, love quietly, and see beauty where others don't. The Old Soul represents timeless hearts and thoughtful minds, the kind of people who were never meant to rush through life but to feel it. So what I gather from this description and from what I've seen on the Glaminatrix Instagram is that this is a 12-part series, and each part is a different personality archetype. So this one is the Old Soul. The next one, which is already in production, is called the Muse or Muse. No, I think it's the Muse. And then each one after that will represent a different archetype. So the idea is you don't have to get all of them. You basically just pick the one that speaks to you, or multiple that speak to you, because there are different archetypes or different personality archetypes that make up one person. One thing I did notice is a detail in the coin that wasn't really explained. So I'll show you the coin first. On this side, it has the Old Soul with the hourglass and the same details as on the actual palette, and then it's got the Glaminatrix Cosmetics logo down the bottom. And then on this side, it says fragments of the self. And this is the detail that I was like, wait, I'm confused, because the the collection is called the Archetype Collection, but then the coin says Fragments of the Self. And I had DM'd Glaminatrix and I asked about it because I didn't know where it kind of fit into the collection, and I got a reply. So I had messaged and said, hi, I was wondering if you could help with a question I have about the Archetype Collection. The coin that comes with it says Fragments of the Self, and I was wondering how that relates to the collection. Is it the name of the series? And then they had replied back and said, hi, Fragments of the Self isn't the name of the series, but rather the theme behind the coins that come with each palette. The Archetype Collection is the name of the collection, and is inspired by the idea that our personalities are made up of many different archetypes or facets of who we are. Each palette represents one of those archetypal sides. Archetypal? Yeah. Sides of the self. The coin inscription Fragments of the Self reflects the concept. Each coin represents one piece of a larger identity, and as the collection grows, the coins together symbolize the many different archetypes that can make up a whole person. So the palettes are the individual archetypes, and the coins are like collectible fragments that represent those pieces of identity. So the way I interpreted that is, when you purchase a palette, you are purchasing an archetype or a fragment of your personality, and then you will essentially build on that as you purchase the palettes. So as you're purchasing them, you are creating your own archetype, or like your own personality, dependent on the archetypes that you choose. And you are kind of like, I guess the coins are the fragments of that. So you're like essentially piecing piecing your personality together through the different archetypes. That's kind of how I interpreted it. And then I replied and I said, so when we purchase the palettes that we like, we are creating our own identity in our selection of palettes. And she said, yes, exactly. The idea behind the Archetype Collection is that we all have many different sides to who we are. So when someone chooses the palettes that resonate with them, they're essentially selecting the archetypes they connect with most. In that way, everyone's collection can become a little reflection of their own identity and the different facets of who they are. And I just thought that was a really interesting detail to include in it, and it just shows to me that there was a lot of thought put in not just the palette but like the whole collection. I don't know, I just really like that, and it made me really appreciate the collection as a whole even more. So yeah, I can't wait to see what else they come out with and the different archetypes that they represent with it. So anyway, I did want to share that little piece of information, or big piece of information, because I ramble a lot. But now let's get into the actual palette. So I am going to do a couple of looks with this. I have no idea what I'm going to do because I haven't even thought about it, to be completely honest. So I'm going to zoom you in a little bit, and then I will start applying these to my eyes. I wasn't even recording that. Cool. Anyway, I'm going to use this shade Hourglass, or have started to use it because I forgot to press record, and I'm basically just applying that into the crease and then bringing it up just like that. I'm such a sucker for just a brown, but this shade is very nice. It looks quite, I guess, warm in the pan, but once it's on the eye, I don't think it looks super warm at all. So that's just basically all over like that. Then I'm going to take a smaller brush. Also, these brushes are Glaminatrix brushes. So good, so good. If you have hooded eyes, they are phenomenal. The next shade I'm going to use is Yearning. So this one is kind of like a reddy maroon, I guess. I'm going to insert a clip here of swatches of the palette. So here are all of the matte shades together. The matte formula is very typical of Glaminatrix. They're pigmented, but they blend very easily, so they're quite user-friendly. Even with the brighter shades, I don't find that they stick too much. Here are the shimmers. We do have a couple of different formulas within the palette. There are a couple of different like standard sort of shimmer formulas, but then we also have more, I guess, oily type of feeling shimmers, which sounds like a bad thing, but it's not. There are a couple of softer ones in the palette. So Keepsake and Still can be quite soft in the pan. Whisper is also like that. I find it moves around in the pan a little bit less, but it is that softer sort of formula. So just be aware of those shades. Just kind of dip into them a little bit softly until you figure out the formula, essentially, because they can get a little bit messy and they move around in the pan a little bit. They're not as soft as some of the shades in the Tones of Turd or the Grounded palette. Those ones I find can be quite hard to work with because they are so squishy. These ones are they're a mix between those super squishy ones and their standard shimmer formula. All right, so now that I've actually shown you all of the shades swatched out, I'm going to go in with my next shade, which is this one here. This is Yearning. Ooh, oh my God. I literally saw a shade just shatter as I dropped the palette. Oh, no, 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 no. No, two. Oh. It's fine. I can repress them. It's fine. Oh my God. Oh, look what happened. The shades that I said are soft are the shades that literally just fell out of the pans. So Still is still in the pan, but it has lifted. Keepsake, half of it is up here. And then this one is like one of my favorite shades. Whisper has also just completely come out. Oh my God. This is very upsetting. Hold please. I'm going to try and repress these. Okay. So I have managed to press them back in. This one I lost a decent amount of because it just kind of flicked out everywhere. I had to get it off the mirror. Some of it was actually in this, like sitting on top of this shade as well, but I got most of it back in there. And then this one had lifted from the pan, but it hadn't actually come out, so I just pressed that one back in there. So yes, case in point, these are soft are a soft formula. Also, if you're worried about that happening in transit, they do actually come with a little protective coverings. So, you know, even though it is a delicate formula, I didn't have any issues like in transit or anything like that. Just don't go dropping it all over the place. Now, this is the shade that I am using. I'm going to basically put that in the crease and bring it up a little bit as well.
Got me up on a late night. You steady playing on my mind. Oh, I can't get you out my head. Got a feeling I can't fight.
So now in the inner corner, what do I want to do? I think I actually want to use this one here, which is Flicker. And I'm going to use that in just like this space here that is still bare. And then I'm going to use that, this shade Linger in the inner corner to really brighten it up. I might do that after I apply concealer though, but we'll start with Flicker. This is a beautiful, I guess like neutral brown shade. Very, very lovely. Oh, that's nice.
Been down, I stay close. Storm hit, I ain't let go.
Very nice. Okay, now I'm going to apply concealer and then I'll do Linger. So I will be back. What I've done is I've just applied concealer kind of in the inner corner because I haven't applied a shimmer yet. I should have done the shimmer before I did the inner corner because you do get a little bit of fallout with Glaminatrix shimmers. It's not usually a problem, but I just thought it's worth mentioning. So I'm just going to take Linger, which is that, I guess, like eggshell shade, and just tap that in the inner corner to really brighten it up. That was probably too much, but that's all right. I mean, I've dropped the whole palette anyway, so it's already a disaster, isn't it? Very nice. Now, shimmer. What do I want to use? I think I want to do, I mean, that one seems like the obvious choice because it's very similar to the tones that we have going on. So I might just do that. Now, this one is a very standard Glaminatrix shimmer formula. Very sparkly, very glittery, very impactful. You are probably better off using a glitter glue with any sort of shimmer with a lot of sparkle in it. You should probably use a glitter glue anyway. I literally have one right here and I just continuously forget to use it. But especially with Glaminatrix shimmers, I would highly recommend using a glitter glue because, as I said, you do get a bit of fallout with them just because they are super sparkly. I would recommend doing your eyes first or using a glitter glue or both. Yeah, see? You can see that, you know, a little glitter chunk has fallen out. You can also just brush off with like powder or something. If you've done your base first, that is fine. Each to their own. I think I also want to use a little bit of Whisper, which is one of my casualties. This one here. I want to use that in the inner corner as well, just over the top of Linger. Oh my god, what did I do there? See, this is an issue now. Once half of the bloody shade has fallen out, the formula is slightly inconsistent. It's fine. We'll just add more on this side. Cool. All right, so now I'm going to apply the rest of my makeup. Okay, this is mostly the finished look. I just need to do my lower lash line and put some mascara on, but this is pretty much everything else. I'm going to take a tiny little bit of Yearning, which is this one here. And then I'm just going to kind of mix it with this and maybe a little bit of this. I'm just going to pop that really just out in this outer edge here because I don't want to spread it too far. And then I'm going to take this brush, which is also part of the Glaminatrix one. I'm taking Flicker first, which is that cooler. Oh my god. I'm like so scared to hold this thing up now. Flicker, this one. And I'm just going to blend those two together. Just like that. And then I'm just gonna take a fluffier one and I'm just popping a little bit of Hourglass on that, and then we're going to just smoke out that whole thing. We're going smoky. That didn't even focus on my face. We're going smoky. I'm going to take a little bit of Linger, which is that eggshell color, and just kind of like do that to blend it together so it's a little bit more seamless. Cool. All right, mascara. This is the complete finished look, and now we'll move on to the second look. And I won't drop the palette this time, hopefully. All right, on to look 2 now, and I think this time I'm gonna do a halo eye, but I'm gonna stick to, I think I'm gonna use this gray. What shade is this? Reverie. I think I'll use that as my like inner and outer shade. And then this white for in the center. I am gonna basically cover it all with shimmer as well, but I'm thinking that's what I wanna do today. Oh, I'm going to zoom you in. Hold, please. So I'm going to use, this is a Morphe brush, and I'm going to take Flicker and just apply that in the crease and up here.
Got me up on a late night. You steady playing on my mind. Oh, I can't get you out my head.
Nice. I just want that to be quite subtle. I don't want it to be like super dark. It's not the focal point of the look. The grey is very much going to be the focal point. Next, I'm taking Reverie, and I'm going to put that on the outer and inner and in the crease, like I'm, you know, I'll show you.
I just wanna give you my love. I just wanna give you my love. I just wanna give you my love. My love. Ain't no doubt about it.
I have brought it in a little bit too far, but that's fine. And then I'm going to take this shade Linger, and I'm going to basically fill this void here, and then we'll get into some shimmer.
I got you up. Been down, I stay close. Storm hit, I ain't let go. You don't want, I don't second guess.
I think I will take the shade Whisper, which is this one up here. I know I used that in my last look, but I think it'll be the best one that goes, because I don't want to take away from that eggshell white that I just put there. I want something to really, you know, make that pop. Actually, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to use Still, but I'm going to tap it quite lightly and hopefully not completely cover that white. Well, not white, lighter shade. I want it to kind of like scatter rather than be really opaque. All right, now I am going to put my concealer on under my eyes, and then I'll finish the lower lash line. So what I'm doing for the lower lash line is kind of the same as what I did for the top lash line. I'm just not going to put much shimmer on there as of right now. Could change my mind because I'm very good at doing that. I'm just going to take a really small brush and take that Reverie shade, the grey, and basically do that there. And then on the inner corner as well, I'm going to take a pencil brush and I'm going to take a little bit of Flicker just to blend that out a little bit. I've gone way too far in on this eye, but that's okay. And then same in here. And then I'm going to take the same little brush that I took with the first, with Reverie, I'm just gonna tap Linger.
My love, ain't no doubt about it, babe. You should be mine. Through the sun.
I actually am gonna put a tiny little bit of glitter underneath the eye. I just feel like it doesn't look complete. So I'm gonna take still the same shade that I had up top.
Been down, I stay close. Storm hit, I ain't let go. You don't want, I don't second.
Okay, that is pretty much it for the eyes. I'm just gonna put on the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. All right, so it's getting pretty bright outside, but this is the finished look. It's a lot darker than what I was expecting, but I actually like how it turned out. I did a darker lip just to kind of lean into the darkness of it. That's it for look 2, and now on to look 3. Okay, I'm back with the final look. I do apologize that this half of my face is a little bit in shadow. I am pointing, I've got one window here and one window here. I've got the blinds open on this side and I've got them like slightly open on this side. But basically by me being in front of this window, I'm essentially pointing at the entire street. Our house is kind of like at the end. So if I had this window open, literally everybody in the street can see me, and there's like kids playing out there, and I don't feel like doing that. So sorry about that, but we'll just have to deal with it. So I'm going to go into this shade to begin with, and I'm basically just going to like blow that out on the outer corner. I am going to be kind of messy with it because I'm doing my eyes first and I can clean up any, you know, rough edges later. Should I use a smaller brush though? Potentially. I might just use a slightly smaller brush and then I'll blow it out with a bigger brush. So I'm using the shade Echo. I need a bigger brush. Shouldn't have used the smaller one.
Feeling you and I won't pretend. I don't wanna say too much. I don't wanna say too much. I just wanna feel your touch. I wanna be closer, babe. I just wanna give you my love.
All right, and then I'm going to take this shade Kindred and I'm going to put that in the inner half, I guess.
The rain, I'll stay by your side. And when seasons change, my love will still remain. 'Cause I got you.
And then I will do my inner corner in a second. I'm just going to add some shimmer first. Then I'm going to add that white in the inner corner and then I'll, first I'm going to add some shimmer. Then I will do my concealer and then I'll finish off the eye look. But I want to put some shimmer down first. Now, do I want to use Candlelight or do I want to use Timekeeper? I mean, I could probably use a bit of both, couldn't I? That is Candlelight and that's Timekeeper. I'm leaning more towards Timekeeper, but you know what? I might just I'll do Candlelight just kind of in the center, like this. And then I'll do Timekeeper more in the corner. I've just wiped the excess off on my finger because I don't want it to be like super, super glittery. Even though it now is, but it's fine.
Seasons change, my love.
All right, so I've just wiped everything off this finger and I'm just trying to kind of, I guess, like tap it out a little bit so it's not quite so glittery. They've basically just blended together, but that's fine. And I'm just going to take this brush and just kind of tap the outside to blend that, what was it? Echo in a little bit. It's the dog trying to get in. Now, I am going to put my concealer on, and then I will continue with the eyes. All right, now that I have done that, I am going to just take a blank brush, a clean brush, and I'm just going to sort of buff the edges on this side a little bit because they're just a touch messy. See how that just instantly kind of smoothed it out a little bit? It like diffused it is the word I'm looking for. That's what I want because I didn't want it to be quite so harsh. All right, so that is all good. I'm going to do the bottom lash line now. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Echo just in the outer corner here. So I'm going to add a little bit of Kindred, which is this shade again. I'm just going to see how it looks because I don't want it to be too just like pink on pink. So we'll see how this goes.
Say too much. I don't wanna say.
Yes. And then I'm also going to take some of this shade Linger, which is the egg white shade, just on the same brush, and I'm going to kind of blend those together. Cool. All right, now I'm going to take a smaller brush and add more of Linger in the inner corner, just to really brighten that up. Yeah, like that. Alrighty, so that's the eyes done. I'm going to finish off the rest of my face and I'll be back with my final thoughts and review. Alright, so this is the finished look. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love these sort of tones anyway. But yeah, really happy with this. Now, let's talk about the collection. I did talk about the other little bits and bobs that went with it, but as a whole, I really enjoy the concept and the execution of this. I love that you get the little collectible coin and it has, you know, the card that goes through not only the collection itself, but the palette that you've got. If you're not into keeping this sort of stuff, on the back of the palette, it does have the same little description of the old Soul itself. I just love keeping these, and I use this as a bookmark. So I really love the palette. I love the shades in here. Look, there's no disputing that I love Glaminatrix's formula. I have a number of their palettes. I do feel like the matte formula now is better than what it used to be. I think the first palette of theirs I ever bought was the original Nearly Natural palette, back when it was just in the like cardboard packaging, and I liked the formula back then, but since they have redone the formula, I love it even more because they're softer and they just blend easier. But yeah, I love this palette, I really do. It just has such beautiful tones in here, and the formula is fantastic. So I would recommend it if this is your style of palette. Like if you're drawn to the color story, of course, go for it if you can get it. I'm very excited to see what else is in the pipeline for this collection, and I'm really happy with the palette. So I would love to hear your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you gave it a thumbs up and also subscribed if you haven't already. But yes, other than that, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.